Welcome to the Picture of Success podcast. Here we speak to outstanding mid-career professionals who have made their mark at a young age. Together, we will be diving into their journey and their process that they went through in order for them to achieve success. And in process, learn how we too can have the ability to achieve our dreams and purpose. And today in this show, we have Nazroof Hakim, the founder and the CEO of Billplz. Now, Billplz is a fintech company started and founded in 2012 and is a payment platform for organizations to pay and get paid the fastest at the lowest cost possible. Its proposition is simple yet effective. One, to replace the repetitive manual in financial payment tasks, not only at transactional level, but also reconciliation and back office functions, right? And the uniqueness that Billplz has made it one of the most preferred platform payments in Malaysia, which it serves over 40,000 merchants. And in 2021 alone, Billplz handles around 6 billion ringgit in terms of GDP. And Hakim has the battle scars to make Billplz to what it is today. Today, Billplz sits under Capital Berhad, in which Hakim is the founder and CEO and executive chairman. Hakim, it's an honor to have you in the show.
Likewise. I think for the benefit of this interview, Nazroof will be better. So Hakim is for family members. So full disclosure, Yazid is a cousin, hence why. But Nazroof will be better for this session. Hey,
all right.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's an honor to finally interview you in person. We've been talking a lot together in family gatherings and stuff like that. And I've known you for ages, right, Hakim? Nazroof. and I've seen you grow leaps and bounds.
Know me as Hakim.
Right, people might know you. People know you like as Nazroof, right? And Nazroof, I've known you for ages, right? I've literally seen you grown up and go through leaps and bounds. But for the benefit of my audience, right? Can you actually tell a bit about yourself?
So, I was from. Let's start with the education, because I think that's where everything starts. At least for me. Graduated from Sheffield U in accounting and financial management, decided to pursue ACCA, but unfortunately failed. I'm okay to state that publicly because at one point, ACCA no longer becomes an asset, but a liability to me, right? So I decided to, okay, let's pursue other things. So I decided to jump into the work life, right? Jump from one organization to another, GLCs, a couple of GLCs. While I was at Post Malaysia, which is the most relevant for this discussion, that's where the genesis of Billplz was. I was also asked by HR to be part of Paklah Khazanah's Orange Book program. So what Orange Book program means that you are supposed to take over the leadership of GLCs, right?
Right.
But I decided that, hey, this is not for me because this nagging idea called Billplz is in my head. It's constantly in my head. Like I have to do this. I have to pursue it. It's like a calling, though. It's like I don't know how else to explain it. It may sound a bit dramatic, but at least that's what it is to me. It's a calling. So I decided to drop everything, the comfort of GLCs. Many people fail to see that because, hey, you are on track to move up. Why bother, right? Because even for me back then, I thought I had only about 6 months of savings. I thought, I can do it, right? Uh, but it turns out I actually need 3 years to just get that shining light, right, at the end of the tunnel. So I quit post Malaysia 2010. Basically, got a grant. This is very important. Got a grant from Cradle CIP 150 in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. And then incorporated Billplz yang Berhad 7/11/2012. So many people see us today, 6 billion GMV. What they don't know is that we are almost a decade old, right? 7/11/2012. Right? It's just what, a couple of 9 months away, plus minus. Right. So we are a decade old. We have gone through all types of hurdles imaginable. Like have you been DDoSed by a state-sponsored country? Yes, we did. It was yesterday, right? 60,000 requests per second, right? Originated from Russia, right? So if to put it in perspective, our best was just 2 requests per second, right? This is 60,000. So it's been attacked by state-sponsored entity, almost bankrupt, mass resignation. What else? Like all the crazy things that as a business owner you should expect. We have experienced it. We have, alhamdulillah, overcome it. Right, together as a team, very important, and here we are today. Yeah.
Right. So it's been 10 years, right? More than 10 years, in fact, right? If you think about it, and you actually started Billplz way before the fintech term become mainstream in that sense. Literally, you were actually really ahead of
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Hakim, I was just wondering, right? What made you actually make that leap of faith, right? In that sense, right? To an industry that is very nascent in Malaysia, leaving the comfort of your job. What sort of calculation that you went through? You said you have 6 months of saving. How do you actually went through that, right? Were you optimistic, overreaching yourself, and how did you get over that? Right?
Over-optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I was in post, I was attached to international business unit, right? So what we do is we go through proposals after proposals, especially from developed countries, and the constant team back then was electronic bill presentment and payment. So what that means is basically Post Malaysia plus Maybank, everything online, right? Now, this is 2007-8, right? This is not today, okay? So back
this is
then,
like second nature, right? Today, that's
today is
nature.
like, yeah. Can every company had their own app, right? But 2007-8, it's totally new. So I wanted to pursue it within Post Malaysia because we already have the physical bills. We literally print it, right? We have a subsidiary printing it.
I remember those times.
The payment part, it can be integrated, right? So we have all that, but what we don't have is commitment, right? So I have 3 CEOs in 2 years, right? We have more CEOs than we have the number of years, right?
Right.
So that's something that really pisses me off, to be frank. So I decided that, hey, this enough is enough. this is a black hole. I was told it is still a black hole. No offense. But yeah, I need to move on with my life. So what happened was, yeah, I just believe in myself so much, which is not a good thing. Hence why the 6 months punya budget, which turned out to be 3 actually. So I just decided to resign and pursue. I just want to say that Malaysia is blessed with government grants. Obviously, some abuse it, so that's unfortunate. You shouldn't do that, right?
Right.
So the only reason why, well, not the only, sorry, partly is because of government grants. So we got grants from Cradle, MDEC, MyNIC, the entity that take care of our local domain name. So the extra funding is coming from grants.
Right.
That's how I managed to sustain for the first 3 years. And then MathCap came in, another government VC, 700,000 ringgit, right? So yeah, there are financial assistance out there, but
right.
you really have to show the numbers, right? It was hell. The first 3 years was hell, to be frank. Like,
I think this seems to be a recurring theme as I actually interview too many startup, right? A lot of startup founders, when they started young, they seems to be optimistic with their capabilities and their resourcefulness in getting things done, right? And for you, I guess that's the textbook case in that sense. But fortunately, you actually found a way to actually get the resources required. Albeit if there's no external investors, there's government grants coming in, right? So maybe can for the benefit of the young entrepreneurs out there and so forth, right? How did you discover government grants, and what are the strategies perhaps for you to actually best get the best government grants, and how can we return back that to the society? Yeah, sorry, over to you.
I like that last part. That last part is very important. How you return to society. So when it was 2010, everything was pretty new. Right now, they raised the bar. Right. It's not as easy anymore. Albeit that they increased the funding size, so there's no more CIP 150. Right now, I heard minimum is 500,000, right? Because of rising costs and everything, blah blah blah. So government, but because of that, they also raised the bar, which they should. No issue there.
To just separate the real good ones and the ones that are just seeking money for the sake of it, right?
Yeah, the term is grantrepreneur. They want to separate the grantrepreneur and the real entrepreneur, right? So back then, because it's brand new, not to say it's easier to get, they are more open to new ideas. So that's my experience. To be frank, I have no idea what's the process now, because we function on our own internal fund.
Right. You've grown sustainable, right? You've grown sustainable.
Yes. But I guess a few things that you have to figure out is, do they add value, right? Rather than just focusing on the paperwork. Because the last thing you want is a government agency that have you that's controlling you, right? With paperwork, right? So you want to be careful with that, because the only advantage you have is speed. That's it, right? That's it, in the intro stage, because like any other product cycle, right? There's intro, there's growth, there's maturity and decline, right?
There's also
Petronas
death,
is
the death
maturity.
valley bit, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so that's the decline side, right?
Right, right.
A Fortune 500 like Petronas is at maturity.
Right.
Billplz is at growth. But when you are at intro, right, intro stage, the only advantage is because you don't have a product. You start a success story, you have nothing. So the only thing you have is your speed. So the last thing
And
you
flexibility
want, you
as well,
get
right?
bogged down.
And
Sorry?
flexibility too as well, right? Flexibility.
Correct.
You're able to
Correct.
pivot from one
Correct.
to another.
That is right. So what you do, sitting on your neck, wanting you to provide this Excel that will take up half your day. Just want to be careful with that. The second, I would say, is the time spent to pursue it in the first place, right? Without naming any agency, there are certain agencies that are black hole in nature, right? So basically, you're sucked into this black hole. So you might want to avoid. Do a Google, ask your circle of friends. You'll get to know the good ones and the bad ones lah.
Right. I'm actually interested to that point that you have just now, right? You know, a company has this trajectory of curve, right? Starting, there's the growth phase and maturing phase, right? But there's this one phase called the valley of death, right? Because when you start, there's always going to be a time where you just pump in more resource, pump in more money, and you're just going to go deeper and deeper until you just go up back in the sense, right? And for every founder, for every CEO who just went through that, it's perhaps a very steep learning curve to just get through that hump, right? So what was your learning curve, right? To get through, to pass through that valley of death.
So I guess what you're referring to is the gap between intro and growth, right?
Yes.
So usually you start off with gung-ho attitude, with fresh money from investor. You're ready to introduce your
I want to change the world.
I want to change the world, right? I am the best. I am the next Steve Jobs. But then you start to realize that, it takes a while to hit that milestone, and then you run out of everything.
Yeah.
Right? You run out of literally everything, money, energy, time, everything, right? Everyone is starting to leave you. And that's what I think you're referring to, the valley of death.
Yeah.
And for some, they have rich angels around them, right? They can pump in more. They have investors that trust them and more, like Grab, right? By the way, if you read Grab history, right? I think it was his mother, Anthony's mother, gave him like a couple of millions USD, right?
But you are not that, right?
So
you are not
black,
from someone like a billionaire,
wealthy
right?
family, good for them, right? But most. No. So my father gave me Nissan Venet for my first car, right? This is the Pasar Malam van, right? So no, I'm not, unfortunately. So what I did in my depression mode, I guess, was watch a lot of YouTube videos lah. Yeah. So just like what you're trying to do, guys.
Right.
So there is a video that shows Steve Ballmer. At that point, he was still the CEO of Microsoft. He was jumping up and down the stage, shouting, "Developer, developer, developer." So it caught my attention. Like even though I half watched the video, that moment like caught my attention. Why on earth? This is, I think back then it was Fortune 10. Good. Microsoft is easily Fortune 10. In fact, right now they are Fortune 3. Right? Why on earth this Fortune 10 CEO is making a fool of himself? Right? Shouting, "Developer, developer, developer." And that was the eureka moment for me.
Right.
Because that's when I realized, oh, dang, I was selling to the wrong crowd. Because Billplz is not for business owners. Right? Billplz is for developers.
Developers.
Right? So as soon as I watched that, I refocus whatever resource we have, whatever little resource we have, towards developers community, right? So I embrace them. I sit down with them, like what do you need? So they gave me a whole bunch of homeworks, right? I need API. I need a world-class API. Okay, I need a community-driven group. So they gave me a whole list of what I need to do to embrace developers community. So that's what we did, and amazingly, everything starts to change from there. Because the thing is, if you're selling, because a lot of failure starts because you're selling to the wrong group, customer, to the wrong target market, or with the wrong value proposition, right? So instantly when I refocus everything dekat developer, we're talking about those yang code, yang totally the opposite of business owners, right? Business owner 99% don't know anything about coding, right? You show them an API documentation, they go blank, right? So by going by refocusing to just developer, what happened was business owner no longer have a say on the decision to use Billplz, right? Because if they hate my gut for whatever reason, I am known to piss off people. But because developer love our API, for example, they will veto the business owner. Because in the end, do you know how to code? No. Then listen to me. Use Billplz. So that's when everything starts to change. We became profitable after our third year, probably earlier, probably 2.5 years that start to turn. But after that, it's all positive, right? We start to get double the revenue every year. I still remember, I think it was 700,000, 2.2 million, 5.4. Last year was 17.4. So more or less double the revenue for the last 4 or 5 years. And that's a decent net profit every year as well. So essentially we are profitable for the last 5 years. So I guess that would be the turning point for Billplz. And that's when we decided to come up with a parent company called Capital Berhad, right? So we did a swap share. So everyone goes a swap shares with Capital. All the promoters go to Capital. Capital owns 100%. I was inspired by Alphabet and Berkshire Hathaway, right? These are two major global holding co. Alphabet owns Google. Berkshire obviously owns practically almost everything. So yeah, now I sit at Capital Berhad. we have an IPO 2025.
Wow.
So we want to go IPO in 2025. That's the focus right now, 3.5 years or less. Hoping to hit that sweet unicorn valuation, that $1 billion USD valuation IPO. We have a massive milestone ahead. The DDoS attack yesterday does not help, obviously, but we came out stronger, right? There's no dispute in it, right? Everyone is so determined now, because you need to understand about DDoS now. Hackers have costs on their own to orchestrate that DDoS. It's not
you want to make it difficult for them, right?
It's not free for them to orchestrate the DDoS attack. Even though they need to hijack computers, right? Millions of computers globally, that is still a cost to them. And when there's cost to someone, whenever you want to use that resource, you want to find a target that can give you return, right? That makes sense, right? So that's why they don't go DDoSing and any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
So,
right? So
being DDoS is actually a badge of honor. That means you're important enough.
Correct. Correct. So we, to be frank, it's more exciting than, at least for me, I feel more excited, even though it's kind of a weird way, but it's more exciting to be, because we're talking about global entity, though, state orchestrate entity, state entity. Only these people can orchestrate this kind of attack, right? At this level. So yeah, I mean, but having said that, obviously that also shows how bad, how weak we are moving forward. That's the real concern. Like for example, Ukraine and Russia is no longer isolated. Ukraine and Russia's war, Russia's government's cash reserve is frozen. 50% of that is frozen. So what they are now desperate. Their hackers are desperate. So you will see this more prevailing. So that's my concern, right? So who else are they going to attack?
Right. I think this is a problem for every company that's scaling up. And from the conversation that I'm having just now, you've got big grand plans in scaling up, in expanding to new markets, in conquering the world of fintech, right? So as a veteran who actually been more than 10 years in fintech in Malaysia and perhaps also in this part of the world, where do you see the world of fintech is going in Malaysia? And any snippets on that, or moving forward, or maybe what's in store for Capital?
So when you talk about fintech, so you have to separate the financial and technology.
Right.
So the technology is always there. So if you look back, when we progress from barter system to coins, coins to paper to digital, now we are talking about crypto. Okay, the technology will always evolve, right? It's not like macam 2000 suddenly there's 2010 suddenly there's fintech. No, technology is always there, right? And finance is always there as well. Right, so because that's what turns the world around, again, so to speak. So I just want to start with that understanding that fintech is nothing new. It's just a media, a way to group a certain segment of the business, right? So I don't. Let's just say I'm not easily impressed with the word fintech, right?
You were there before the term is coined, right?
So I run the business like any other for-profit business, right? We have a very strict P&L regime that we have to go through every month. So everything is allocated for. It's starting to be like a clockwork, right? Like everything is allocated. That's the most important thing. How I see fintech will evolve is it will be very digital, in the sense that this concept of money again, it won't exist anymore, right? I foresee that we will come to a point where everything. So good example is Amazon Go, right? So you can go into a grocery store. You just have to swipe your phone and then just pick everything on the go without paying, right? So that's what I'll see as well. So a company can have sufficient data sets, right, to allocate rating to their customers, can also do that with requiring to fill very long application forms, timeout period, to wait proof, and everything is secured with blockchain technology, right? It's not fungible. There's no duplicate of data. So that's the future I'm betting on, right? Seamless, no downtime, and affordable.
And I assume Capital is moving towards that future as well, together with
Yes.
Billplz.
So capital purpose is they act as an incubator for payment solutions. So under Capital, that there are about 4 SBUs. So we place them into 3 buckets: cash cow, promise, and experimental. So Billplz is cash cow. We have two SBUs, strategic business units, Siam Bahat. They are promising, and 1 experimental. We have a couple of proposals for investment every other week. So I in terms of investment thesis, is either we directly invest for minority stake, or we swap shares for majority control, right? Or we pursue it ourselves, right? So if the two does not work, we still find it important for capital ecosystem. To be specific, Billplz ecosystem, right? Because Capital is not an operating company. Then we would pursue it ourselves as our own SBU.
So that's interesting. So besides Billplz, you have other products that are already out there in the market, right? I think everybody knows Billplz, but what are these other products if it's already there? If you want to explain to the audience.
So one is on the database side. So the bucket for promising has 2 I mentioned just now. So one SBU is focused on database management. So you'll be surprised that even though you have this big data, quote unquote, right? You need a whole different team to manage the database. So that and to monetize it, of course, with obviously consent, right? So that's on the database team, and then we also have verification. So people will pay for verification moving forward.
Right.
Right. So if I want to know Yazid bank account Maybank 123, true or false, who do I go to?
Right. So you
Right?
act as that third party, just like secrets and so forth.
So for one person, that's fine. But what if a company has 1,000 every week, right?
Right.
Then you need some sort of process to get the right status. So and the other is so experimental that I don't want to even talk about it. It's still the early days.
That's your competitive advantage.
It might be nothing. It might be the greatest thing ever. So I'm just gonna put it at that. Yeah.
Right. So we are actually almost to the end of the show. I have so many questions, but maybe we'll do part 2 somewhere later in that sense, right? I believe you've got amazing products. Billplz is amazing, and with a couple of products coming along the way, and Capital coming to IPO somewhere around 2025. There's exciting times for Billplz and Capital. But before we actually end our show, perhaps let's go back to that personal interaction, personal belief that you have, right? So if you were to have a billboard for yourself, stating what you believe to the world, what would that billboard say about it, about yourself, about what you believe?
It will be our core values from day one. It's teamwork, consistency, fairness. 3 things, right? These 3 core values, I always tell my teammates, will guide you when there's no answer. It's our culture, and culture is whenever you're not. Culture is what you do when no one's watching.
Right. Culture is the DNA on how we actually move forward in that sense, right? Without culture, things will not move, right? Okay, so we are about the end of the show, but just for the audiences and the people who have not subscribed to Billplz yet, or business owner who intends to use Billplz, is there any way for them to actually subscribe or to reach out to you or to reach out to Billplz and start using Billplz? How do they do that?
So all you need to do is just go to billplz.com, register yourself. I was told that it's a bit long, and that's because of regulations, right? We are dealing with payments here. It's a very
KYC and stuff like that,
business. KYC, exactly. So bear with us, right? But we do have low FPX. It is the fastest, right? Hands down.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not used Billplz, this is an opportunity for you to actually experience the convenience, the value that Billplz offers, right? So, I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you like the content that we are actually producing right now. And if you like to know more on similar content, talk to our CEOs, founders, fellow entrepreneurs who have experienced and gone through that all, just come back to my channel again, subscribe to my channel, and obviously give a thumbs up and a like for this video. Right? I'm Yazid, the host for this podcast, and before I just leave, I just like to thank you, Nazroof, for being part of our host.
Thank you, Yazid.
All
Stay
right.
safe, man.
Well, do you too stay safe, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'm Yazid again, signing off from the podcast Picture of Success. Have a great day ahead.